Welcome to the room. Yay! We are so excited to welcome Sonali Dev. Is it Dave or Dev? Dev.
It's Dave. You got it just right.
It is Dave. Oh, I'm glad you asked that.
Yeah.
Well, everybody says Dev, and I know whenever I hear you say it, it's Dave. But my brain is like, that's not how you spell Dave. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, there's this whole colonial spellings with the Indian languages, and it's always a mess. So you don't even want to know. Like Yash, I don't know why that name is always spelled with an A, or Ravi, right? It's pronounced Ravi with a U, but everyone here says Ravi because it's spelled Ravi.
Right.
And I mean, Ravi's not tell people it's not Ravi, but I guess they just give up.
They've been beaten down, and yes, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Very, very true. Anyway, I'm so excited you're here, Sonali, because I always love talking to you, and you look gorgeous.
You do
all
look
for launch day.
Yeah, and great lipstick.
Yeah,
and we have Kate here who is excited to say hi. So hi, Kate.
Hi, Kate.
And should we start with Poppy News? We've got lots of it.
Yes. Well, I didn't do my official.
Let's do your official. Let's do
the official introduction and got so excited to talk to Sonali. Sonali, if you are unfamiliar with Sonali, she is the author of Stories with a Bollywood Beat, award-winning, many stars on many of her books. I have loved Sonali since her very, very first book. In fact, you were one of the first authors that I ever met, and I came up to you at the Heartland Fall Forum, which is the Midwest Independent Booksellers fall convention.
Yeah.
And I remember so nervous, shaking, and I'm like, I love your book. Will you sign it? And you were so gracious and sweet. So that is my Sonali story. She took me under her wing and said, don't worry. We talked publishing.
Wait, can I share my Sonali story too then? I want to share my Sonali story too then. I saw you first at RWA, Sonali, and we were at the signing, and you had this ginormous line. And there were people who were like, oh my God, it's Sonali Dev in line, waiting for you to sign their book. And I mean, it was wrapping around the room, and I was just like, wow, I need to know this woman. I need to meet her. So yeah,
I did not know this. I did not know the story. I thought this was you were talking about the time that we met and had breakfast or something in, was it Dallas? Yeah, I did not know this. This is, RWA was a special time in RWA, and they were very kind to me. When it's so yeah, the line, yeah, that was I think very RWA.
Rockstar from day one. Rockstar from day one.
We have to take our lines and enjoy them when we can get them.
That's exactly right.
Hey, I have stories because the RT conference, they always put me, and I'm so grateful for this, but they always put me on those end caps. And yes. I had the Kristen Ashton and the Christina Lawrence and the Nalini Singh. So we called them the band authors. You had to have a wristband, right? Because otherwise the lines got too long. So if you were not in the 200s, you couldn't stand in line unless your number was called. So miles of lines, and I would be sitting there, and they all had really hot models with them. And I would be sitting there kind of going, hi, I don't know why they put me here. And I would get all these there's only so much time people can look at you and say hi, and then they're standing in line and the line's moving, and it's hilarious. But the models, these buff hot guys, would take pity on me and come sit by me and chat because they were just there. And so it was but it was so funny, Amy, because then I get really maternal because I have a son who is, really, it's, around that age, maybe 5 years here and there. It used to be hilarious. And then they would, each one of them tell me stories of how they dated an Indian girl back in high school and college, and how the Indian girl parents were not okay with it, and so these Indian girls broke their heart.
Aw.
I'm like, how do you all have the exact same story? Like, what is this? And why are you telling me? I am not responsible for all Indian parents.
It's like how when I was a French teacher, I always had people that would say, "Oh, you're a French teacher, so I only remember this phrase and this phrase from French class." And then I always wanted to take it, and they give me their entire history of how they took French class or didn't or skipped or hated, Madame whoever. And so, yes, it's I guess their way of connecting or something.
Yes. I find everyone feels the need to confess that they hate coconut to me.
Because of your coconut.
Oh my gosh, the coincidence.
I don't like coconut. I'm like, you don't have to eat it.
do you say, oh, what a coincidence? Like everything else? No.
If not, that needs to happen from now on.
Yes. Oh my goodness, yes. Absolutely. All right. Well, this is going swimmingly. Let's move on to Poppy News. Where's my little thingy? Here it is. Poppy News. We have a lot today.
So, I forgot the title. I hate to say this, but okay, Poppy News. Sadika Johnson has a new book coming, which is very exciting. She just announced her new deal, and I will quickly look up that title in a minute and get back to you. Do you remember?
I will. I'll look it up.
Okay. Wayne Di Randall just had a cover reveal for her new book, which is
the cover.
The Last Rose of Shanghai. And isn't it gorgeous?
Gorgeous.
Love it.
I love it.
Very beautiful. They did a nice job with that. It's up for pre-order as well. So if anyone is interested, it's set World War II era. Looks like it's going to be a really juicy read. We had not one, but two authors, Tall Poppies. Denny Bryce and Nancy Johnson were listed on Goodreads as two of the 36 breakout debuts of 2021, which is awesome.
Wow.
Go them.
Wow.
Yeah. My news is in 3 weeks, 3 Words for Goodbye releases. That's exciting. And we just got another mention in BuzzFeed. And then the big news of the night is Sonali's book just released today. And it is her book launch. So we are here to talk about her book, Incense and Sensibility. And yes, cheers, my dear.
Cheers.
Yes.
All right. I'm still looking for Sadika's book title.
All right. You do that.
All right.
Oh, okay. So
I found it. It's called Where the Bad Girls Go.
Where the Bad Girls Go, which is an amazing title, by the way.
That is. And Sadika's Yellow Wife was fabulous, and it did so well. And yeah, I'm so excited. So excited.
Yeah. Yes. All right. Wonderful.
All right. So tell us about your book, Sonali. We want to hear all about it.
Oh boy. So yeah, and since it is release day, that's my book on my face.
It is on your face. But I love your covers. I have to say that William Morrow did such a beautiful job with this series and their covers because they're all gorgeous.
Yeah, look at that.
I have persuasion right here.
Yeah, it's really funny because the editor who bought the series quit before our first round of edits was done, and that's always fun. I cried for a week, and I was an Indian American editor, so there's one in the industry in my genre, and I was like, I had the one person where we would have own voices author with an own voices editor. It was magic. It was magic. I was so happy. And then, she's the loveliest person, but, life happens and she moved on. And I was so, so heartbroken. And then I meet Tessa Woodward, who's been my editor since then, at an RWA conference. And I kind of knew Tessa before that. She kind of went out and asked for these books. So it was all good. She's, executive director or whatever, so she was, all of it was good. But I was still grieving the loss of Priyanka. And then our first conversation, we couldn't, at that point, we hadn't been able to come up with a title. for the Pride and Prejudice book. We were still deciding if we wanted to go with the Jane Austen, all that. And we were kind of riffing titles, and we come up with that title together. And, my heart kind of rises up. And then she sent me this cover. And then my husband was, are we happy now? I'm like, oh, we're 100% happy with our editor now.
And Tessa's lovely. I've met Tessa a few times, and she's a great editor. So I'm so glad it worked out.
And pitch perfect cover, because I knew I wanted something. I knew I didn't want my first 4 covers. For the time, they seemed to see the publisher believed they worked really well.
Right.
But they were really, I can say it now, they were really, really exotified covers. They were Indian book, right? Yeah. They're very contemporary stories. Nobody is really ever in a sari, but they were all about saris and henna, and And so I found ways to justify that, but I knew I did not want that again. And I wasn't sure Manchester was they weren't like romances in that way. I wanted text, title covers, it was a complicated thing. And boom, because they are very, so that whole kind of saga, the almost chaoticness of my storytelling is I think perfectly captured. So that's the title and book story, but Incense and Sensibility. so that's
transition.
So these are, I know it's supposed to be an elevator pitch, and I can never elevator pitch anything because, big surprise, I can't say anything succinctly. So someone is writing a story and I'm like, what? What? No 100,000 words to tell a story? But
I feel ya.
Yeah. So this is thanks, Chris. I'm loving these little. I'm being like squirrel. I'm so glad people are here.
The comments are fun.
So sweet. And so Incense and Sensibility is, so these are my part of this dream I had, since before I was even published, but I knew I was going to do something with my favorite Jane Austen novels. And it kind of evolved over the years, but back in 2013, when I had just sold my book, my first book, it hadn't come out. And I kind of had realized what I want to do, which is tell my favorite 4 Jane Austen novels under one story umbrella. And I wanted to do it with this politically ambitious Indian American family descended from royals, because I wanted to tell the other side of the immigrant experience, not just the angst and the poverty porn, but the real power of making a new home your home and what that means, right? And political power is one piece of that. Wealth is the other piece of that. So there's, and kind of just the other side of the immigrant experience is what I wanted to tell. And so Pride and Prejudice is the perfect story to do that, because it is a story that reaches across class. It is a story that is about perceptions, right? First Impressions was what the working title of Pride and Prejudice was. So that was kind of that one, but it's set in the series kicks off with the oldest son running for California governor. Mm-hmm. And the series will end with the campaign. And so this is the 3rd in the series. And it's a homage to Jane Austen's Sense and Sensibility. And when I say homage, that is just an homage to what she taught me as a person, as a young reader. It's not scene by scene. It's not character by character. If you're looking for that, you're going to be very disappointed. These are very much my stories. There are Easter eggs, right?
We're glad they're your stories, though. Yes. We already have the original. It's lovely to have something fresh.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah. So Yash is running for California governor. This story happens 3 months before the election. And there's a hate crime. There's an assassination attempt. And this man who knows exactly what he wants from life, he's suddenly thrown off his game. He's never had a doubt in his life, and now his life is all doubt. And he cannot get up in front of a crowd and campaign, which puts a bit of a damper on the whole business of him running for election. And the only person the family figures can help him without this leaking to the media and becoming a huge issue, is his sister's best friend, who is a stress management coach and a yoga guru. Of course she is. And she's the only one who can help him. And of course, they've had a magical connection 10 years back, after which he ghosted her and just disappeared for 10 years. So now here he is.
Love the magical connections.
Yes. That's Incense and Sensibility.
So, Sonali, do you have other books planned in this series? Is this the last of the...
No, there's 4, right?
There's 4. Okay, awesome.
There's one more coming next summer, the Emma one.
Okay.
You don't have to share it. I'm just wondering if you know the title yet.
We have a working title that everyone seems to like.
Okay.
But I mean, it can be anything, but the working title is The Emma Project. So we'll see if that sticks.
Oh, okay. Ooh, I love that.
It's so nice. Yeah.
That is really nice.
We actually have a question for you. I have all 3 in this series. Would you recommend to readers they be read in order, or do you think they can be read as standalones?
I think they can have, I don't know if you two have read them, but I think they can totally be read as standalones. There's if you're starting out and you want to start with, there's never anything wrong with going in order, but I think you can totally read them standalone.
I have read, I'm catching up. Of course, I'm like, oh my God, it's the launch week. I have to catch up. So I'm reading Recipe right now, and I'm going to read the other one. I'll be done by the weekend, because once I start reading them, I can't stop. Yay! My personal preference, and they're so good. I have always loved Sonali's books. My personal preference is, because I was going to just skip Recipe and go straight for Incense and Sensibility, and I started reading it, and I'm like, I'm missing some part of, you don't have to have it, but I like to know all this history that's going on, and that first scene between Rico and Yash and what his role was. So I needed to go back to Recipe for Persuasion to get that story, and I just love it. Plus, there's just so much yummy food, and that makes me happy.
Yeah. So there's not that much food in
I know.
And that's going to be interesting. The first 2 are very much foodie books. They were almost my, because I always talked about how the food is so great in my books when I was not even focusing on the food. When I was a little bit, you want food? Here you go. I will give you a foodie book. So that's these 2 books. And can you guys...
You're breaking up a little bit.
I wondered if it was just me.
No.
Your pause. Maybe she should log out and log
back out and come back, and we'll go. There she goes. But I will say, if you are not familiar with Sonali's books, they are fabulous.
They are fabulous.
They kind of have the feel of those sprawling soap opera or telenovelas where you have characters and they, there you are. Oh,
okay. Oh my gosh, what was that all about? I'm so sorry.
Frozen, that's okay. And I was just telling everyone that they needed how I feel like your books are kind of like one of those nighttime dramas like Dallas or Dynasty or a telenovela where you have these sprawling families and complicated histories, and I just love that because they you're not just starting on page 1 where people are just meeting. There's sometimes they meet for the first time, but a lot of times there's this history. And that's always really fun. And it comes at you from a different angle that you're not expecting. So there's always these unexpected little twists and turns that make me happy.
That's, yeah. And so Pam's asking, what's the title of the first one?
Yes.
It's Pride, Prejudice, and Other Flavors, Pam. Thanks for asking. But I think because a lot of my storytelling is actively informed by Bollywood, which is by definition kind of, and Bollywood, of course, is the way it is. Of course, they're not that, you can have really banana pants Bollywood. So I don't think it's that. But I think the whole Indian storytelling tradition is very heightened. The emotions are heightened. Everything is, it's to feel, right? The whole thing is supposed to be this cathartic experience. It's very operatic, you
That's a
can
great
have
word.
these choruses bursting in
Operatic.
your head when you're reading. And so it's very deliberately like that. But I try to be, try to also have it be subtle where it's real. But absolutely. I mean, I think one part, for me, the most interesting part about being Indian is the lack of boundaries in families. I mean, that defines my life. It's and now that I'm a mom, I am totally okay with it because and my mom was the one with no boundaries. It was very different. But now I'm very comfortable with not having boundaries.
I'm wondering too, though. I had an Italian mother, so there were no boundaries in that house. None.
I feel like, motherhood, there might be like a certain, it's very alien to me, a place where motherhood there's boundaries. I know people have that life and, are completely okay with it, but I don't think it's only an Indian thing. Like, every Jewish friend will say that is exactly a Jewish mom, and Italian friends will say the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And so, no, Indian moms have no boundaries at all. If I use the word privacy, my mom acts like she doesn't know, like she suddenly doesn't understand English.
I didn't know that word.
I love it.
Don't compute. There's like a glitch in the connection. What are you talking about?
Yes. Oh, that's so fun.
Love it.
Thanks, Sharon.
Thanks, Sharon. We're glad we're having fun. It's the
Yes,
wine.
definitely. So Amy, do we want to share what we're all reading, or do we want to? I'm excited to share this product that I have because it's a little bit hilarious for me to show. So I definitely want to get there. What are you reading, honey?
So I am reading. Actually, I'm rereading because I love it so much. Recipe for a Perfect Wife by Karma Brown. I just love it. It's kind of a little dark. You have dual timelines in the 50s. You have a modern housewife. She finds this cookbook. And maybe things in the 50s weren't quite what you seemed, and how does that play over into the current present timeline? And if this sounds like something you're interested in, this is very important, people. It is currently $1.99 for an ebook. So I love this book. I think it's great, and I know you'll love it too. So if you want it, go steal it. $1.99.
I am actually reading
I love that.
Real Secret by Lucinda Riley. I have never read Lucinda, and I have seen her books advertised and a lot of people talking about her stuff over the years. And then there was a very sad announcement maybe a month ago, several weeks ago, that she has passed away from cancer. She was a North Irish author and very popular, historical mysteries. And of course, this is one that links a murder and some other things to potentially to the royal family. It's all fiction. But nonetheless, you put something glittering on the cover and I'm going to pick it up.
Yes.
I'm like a raccoon.
I love it. I love it. I imagine a fully gold cover someday.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta have a
You 100% need that.
The gold edging too, so it's everywhere.
Now that I'm thinking about it, wasn't Uzma Jalaluddin's Aisha at Last? I think it had a lot of gold on it. I remember, gorgeous book. Talking of Rex, see, it has that. Yes,
a lot of gold.
Yes,
this is their production. I am such a dork for that kind of stuff.
So good. I think Hannah Khan Carries On, which is her new one, also has. Does that have gold?
Foil, and they call it foil.
Yeah, it has like a rainbow ink.
Yeah. So, and her books are just.
I think my mom stole it. I love them.
Fabulous. So she's, it's really, and Aisha at Last was kind of, also billed as a Pride and Prejudice retelling. And it was just so delightful. She writes, I think, the most delightful heroines. It's amazing how completely, it's just so unexpected how funny and out there they are. I love it. Without losing any of the cultural identity of being Muslim women, right? So
Yeah.
which is exactly how Uzma is herself as a person. So it's very, very present in her work. So
I just actually bought my first book of hers, based on your recommendation, Amy. The latest one,
Hannah Khan.
Hannah Khan.
Yes, yeah, and it's in my stack it's my summer read. So, Sonali, are you able to read it all right now? Do you have something?
I am having a very hard time reading. I don't, there was a time when it was all really great. I'm supposed to be on deadline, and with this, so now with this, what is it about release time that your week
It's so hard,
right? It is. I did nothing, and I was continuously working. So, well, today I was having fun because today's the day that everybody is saying nice things about the book, and it was and I got that little orange flag, which made me completely irrationally happy. It was like
deserved.
So it's been great, but I'm trying. So I just started. Oh gosh, I can never get this. Can you guys tell? It's can you?
I can sort it.
The Bennett women.
It's the Bennett women.
Okay, I haven't heard of this one.
Yeah, it is also Pride and Prejudice. I swear I read out. I don't actually ever go looking for Pride and Prejudice retellings, but I don't know.
They are very popular. It happens.
They are, yeah.
So I just started it, and her name is Eden Apaya Kubi, and she's just this delightful person. We did a role play. What do they call those games where there's an acronym which I learned when I did this thing, but for 4 hours we played this game where we all played people. And
like improv?
No, there's an acronym for it. It's like not Grand Theft.
Oh, LARPing.
No.
Live action role playing.
Yes.
LARPing.
Live action.
What? I need to look into this.
It was so there was, it was part of the Jane Austen Society thing, and someone asked, "Will you do this?" And Tessa Dare and Eden, and it was just so fun to do because you play the people, you write them, and as an author, it's fun. But I met Eden, and she was a hoot. Like if she played 2 people, she would like wrap herself in a stole, and like she had this whole. It was fabulous. I'm really excited about this. I've also been reading Priscilla Oliveira's
yes,
upcoming, and all of Pris's books are great. She has, speaking of sales, Island Adventure is on, and Pris is now a puppy. She's one of our new puppies, and she has Island Adventure is on. No, I'm sorry, Anchored Hearts.
Because I bought it.
Anchored Hearts is on sale for $1.99, and is her books are fabulous, and they're set in in the Latinx community, and they're very familiar, as she would call, based, and so really, really lovely. And these are set on Key West, so complete escapist awesomeness.
Perfect for now.
Yeah. But she is her upcoming series, which comes out I think next year.
Mm-hmm.
Is oh my gosh, another retelling. What is going on? Oh my gosh. But it's I don't know, she has made the announcement, I think.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know if I would reveal.
Okay, so yeah, but it's
spoil it.
It's a very famous Shakespearean play. There's an R and a J in it. But it's it's the wine, and Pris is my dear friend, and she'll forgive me. But basically, it is it's set in San Antonio, and it's almost kind of this gentrification of San Antonio mixed with this play that shall remain unnamed, with a mariachi band face off, and so
that's hilarious.
It's just fabulous. And so I'm reading that more as a beta reader, as we're critique partners. So I'm so much of so just reading for. I mean, this is reading for pleasure because it's always fun to read as a critique partner, someone's work that you like, and it's pretty far along in the process, and it's just great. So those are the things I'm reading.
So you're doing a lot of reading then.
Doing a ton.
I need to be doing so much more, but I'm a very slow and deliberate reader. So I'm always really jealous of people who read fast. I have friends who are like, I just finished Lost Apothecary. Like, you started it this morning. What are you doing?
Or they just have apparently can just read all day, which would be lovely.
Which is how I have to read. Like, I can't do anytime I try to read, every night a little bit, I either drop the book or it doesn't happen. So I have to take a day off and read. Like, that's how I read.
I am the same way. I just end up staying late and reading it when I shouldn't be doing that. That's exactly what's going to happen with Recipe for Persuasion and Incense and Sensibility. I will be done with them by Friday because I won't be able to put them down.
And then you will text me and tell me what you thought.
I will. There'll just be lots of hard eyes, and yes, of course I will do that because I'm loving them.
I read like 4 books at a time, so I'm the odd man out of this conversation. I don't know, and I keep them straight. It's okay. I do 1 audio book, sometimes 2, and I do 3 print books, 2 to 3 print books. It's all about my mood. So, sometimes I'm not in the mood for one of them, so I'll go to a different one, and next thing you know, I've got this big pile, and then all of a sudden I'll plow through a bunch of them at once, and then I start all over again.
Wow. Yeah. And I collect. Like, I literally have a TBR. And I've started doing this thing where I read the first chapter. I get really excited. And then the squirrel thing happens. Like, Susan Elizabeth Phillips's new book is out. And, and I read the first chapter. I'm like, this is like old school Susan back. And it's so great. And then I have to have the blurb, for another book in. And so I have to switch to that. So that's been happening. I did. The one person whose book, once I start, I cannot put down is Kristen Higgins. So, yeah. And Kristen killed me with her last book. Killed me dead with that last book. She is such a genius. And, I kept texting her while I was reading it. I'm like, how did you do this? Like, how did you do this without getting terribly depressed? And I'm sure she was. Like, there's no way to write that book without.
It'd be hard not to when you're really going deep in like that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and so Kristen and I are, I'm gonna do a little what is it called? Pitch. We're doing a book launch event for Incense tomorrow. So
nice.
Is it online or is it in person?
It's virtual. Unfortunately, I have Amy. I did not think when we did the virtual event for Recipe that this would happen again. But it's really great news because there's 6 indie bookstores who are hosting it. So
I saw your advertisement. That's fabulous, though.
Fabulous! Like, I'm so blown away by that. It's being crowdcast, and it's being it's all these indie bookstores are part of it, and we get to support them. All that is fabulous, and you wouldn't, and people from India can. My family from India can be there without being here. It's at 4:30 in the morning, so I'm asking for too much. But
well, just wait until they start putting troll comments in. And trolling you.
That's totally my brother. Like, anytime he is at anything that is professional, he'll talk about changing my diaper.
I love brothers. Aren't they the best?
They're so stupid. I'm like, what are you doing? I get it's a cute story if we're kind of drunk in our living room with friends. I don't think it's in context if you're telling people how my diaper smelled. Like, please. No.
Oh, he just wants to be a part of it. He can't let his sister throw him up.
Oh, yeah, you're trying to be all fancy, but I changed your diaper. I know how it smells. Okay, then.
So my goodness. All right, Heather, you should show us your device.
Okay, my device. We're going to segue from that into device. Yes, I'm excited about this product. And I'm like reaching over my shoulder because this is it.
Is that what I think it is? No.
It's not. Look how long this bad boy is. And you can adjust it. And you're like, what the hell is that thing? Well, let me show you the other attachments first. It also has a flat thingy and a pointed thingy.
Okay, then.
So, right? So basically, I have been scrubbing by hand my stupid shower and the tile. This is so pedestrian, but I'm very excited about this thing. My mom was like, why are you still scrubbing that tile by hand? If you just get one of these tile cleaner things, you'll never have to bend over for 2 hours again, scrub, and it only halfway comes off. So I'm literally in the grocery store on the phone with her, put her on hold, and I go and I buy this friggin' thing. And it was like $40. And so for 15 years, I've been scrubbing tile by hand. And this thing, I'm going to, like, you can clean your oven with it. You can adjust the height. You can do all this stuff. I'm on a rampage tomorrow.
And it works?
Well, I'll let you know.
Because
maybe it's terrible
on TV things, but
yes, no. So next week, you guys, if it sucks, I'm going to be very sad. Because right now, I'm very excited about this thing, and I'm pretty much going to use it on every surface that gets in my way tomorrow.
Wow. You know what I use to scrub tile? And this just is like definitively the stupidest thing to do is a toothbrush. Yeah. So if that works well, I'm going to be very, very sad.
And you cannot overstate the importance of bleach. Good old fashioned bleach.
Yeah. I do have a bleach spray, and that does help a lot, but it doesn't, you still really have to kind of get in the grout, and toothbrush is a great idea. This is bigger, so I'm hoping it'll cover more area at a time.
More like a power giant toothbrush, essentially.
Yeah, yes. So it's like a water pick, but no, it's not. It's not a water pick. It's just a
giant. Those will be rotating. Yeah. It's like a toothbrush at the dentist's office, but giant.
Gigantic.
It's actually
like a polishing thing. I know you guys, we are running out of time, but speaking of devices, I finally broke down and bought one of those duo Instant Pot and air fryers.
Oh, not the air fryer part, just having an Instant Pot didn't have before.
Well, so I've always used a pressure cooker, and the Instant Pot is essentially a pressure cooker that you don't have to turn off, which is great. But that air fryer
is magical.
Heather, we have been eating chicken wings for 2 days straight. And we have, my son went to the store, and my husband is like, what is wrong with our son? He bought $65 worth of chicken wings. This is my husband. That'll be, So he came home with a stack of chicken wings. And we had a lot of teenagers and young people in the house. So we went through half of those. Yes, we've been eating chicken wings for 2 days straight with like a teaspoon of olive oil or something like that for like a whole tray. And
I need to get one of those. I don't have enough counter space right now, but we're going to be moving next year, so
That was my exact problem, and we said we have to throw one thing. I had a crock pot sitting out there, and I don't even think I'm going to put it away. Like, I'm going to leave it on my countertop because I don't think we're going to stop eating wings ever.
No. It makes the best, like, vegetables. Toss in, like, carrots, a little bit of olive oil, salt, pepper. Perfect.
Yeah.
They're also good. Leftover pizza is amazing.
See, I do all this in a regular toaster oven. How is it better?
It's not the same. It's not the same. I mean, I don't think you can do like wings as in real wings that taste like wings if you bake them or broil them.
No, there's something about the convection air process that gives it the texture's better than a normal toaster oven.
See, I make wings in the oven without a problem. They get crispy, but it's process. Like, I have to parboil them, and then you have to toss them in, blah, 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 and turn them and all that.
Toss them in. And my son doesn't even put olive oil in. He just tosses in the wings, cooks them, and then he tosses them with whatever sauce he's going to use. They're kind of amazing. I don't understand how you have an Instapot and an air fryer in one device. That seems just magical.
So I will send you pictures. It is actually an Instapot, and the only thing different is the lid.
Okay.
So this is kind of a dome-shaped lid with a coil in there.
Okay.
So they give you a thing to put it on, because if you place it so it's a coil with a thing so that air circulates from the coil into the Instapot.
That's fascinating. I finally caved and got the Instapot because I was going to get a rice cooker, and rice cookers are really expensive.
They are.
And they do one thing, which you cannot be a device and do one thing now. This is 2021. Like, there's no way you're doing that.
No.
And I'm not enough of a rice snob that I have to have the $300 Japanese rice maker. So the rice, it took me a while to figure out exactly how I like it, and it changes depending on the kind of rice I put in. But I've got it down to rice, but it does. I mean, the slow cooker and all the stuff that it does is kind of magical.
It's fun. Yeah. I mean, rice is like, I think, I at least in my family, when you're born, you know how to make rice. Like, you don't remember the first time you made it. It's one of those things that you were, it was child labor. Rice. And so I can make rice under any circumstance with like a Corning bowl and a microwave. I can cook you perfect rice.
It's amazing.
Genetic. It's just a genetic problem. Rice.
See, in my house, my son does not like rice, which drives me bonkers. Because how do you not like rice? It's rice. It's all about what you put on it, but whatever. So like I have to make him hash browns, which is the same thing in potato form, but whatever.
Yeah. So we have we're having biryani and Andy's frozen custard because we used to I've never, this is book 7, and I've never kind of like established traditions or celebrations because it always is like so hectic. And this time I said, well, you know what? I feel like eating Andy's, and biryani is my favorite thing to eat. And so my husband ordered some. And so I'm like, okay, from now on, so ask me next year. But from now on, that's going to be our tradition.
That sounds
Love it.
I would like to come down and help you celebrate.
Yeah.
It's not that far away.
Speaking of, ladies, we're past time. We've been having a good old time chatting.
We have. So thank you so much for coming, Sonali. I hope you just sell a zillion as you should.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And thanks for having me. This is so much fun. Yes, I can't. Heather, when's yours up?
I was just going to say, we're going to see you soon, too. I think we see you sometime in August with Barbara. Yes, Barbara O'Neill.
Yes, I'm going to keep on showing up on this show.
You're like our honorary.
Keep bringing us guests. You can do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So crazy. All right. Well, you go enjoy your biryani and your Andy's. Is it ice cream? Is it like
frozen
custard?
You Wisconsin girl, it's frozen custard. It's your gift to us.
It is our gift to the world. But is there like Andy's mint in it?
So what? No, Andy's is the brand. Is the brand. The one I like is the Snow Monster, which is strawberries and chocolate syrup, then turns into thin crisps.
Yum.
Yes.
Yeah.
I approve.
I like this. I like where you're going. Yum. Well, you go enjoy your deliciousness.
Yes. Congratulations on your book.
Yes.
Thank
Congratulations.
You. This is so fun. Thanks.
Thank you. See everyone next week.
Bye.